Hello and welcome to the Casual Crowd podcast. Now quickly before we jump into this episode, I do just want to let you know that today's episode does take on a little bit of a different style. I'd say more of an interview as opposed to our normal just sit down and talk rubbish. But we've got a super interesting guest on today. And if you have come over here from Max, then it would be hugely appreciated if you could go and check out one of our other episodes after you finish watching this, just to see if you like them. I personally recommend episode 2, How Big is Gandalf's Staff. Now with that in mind, today's guest is larger than our last few, but don't hold that against him. We've all let ourselves go during lockdown. Today's guest has an award-winning YouTube channel, is an ambassador for Mitre Sports, and has worked with the BBC. With that in mind, I would like to welcome Mr. Matchday With Max. Welcome to the show, mate.
I'm very good, thanks, Phil and Ruben. Great to be on. Hope you both are all right.
I didn't ask you how you were, mate.
Oh, he's already throwing shots at the podcast.
No, how are you, man? How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. No, it's good, and I know we've spoke about this in college a few times, so it's really nice to be on finally and chat to you guys and hopefully have a kind of a good chit chat, really.
Yeah, it's great to have you on, man. I mean, I think today we're going to start off with kind of a traditional segment for the podcast. Before, obviously, we go into, I think you've got some crazy stories for us about the stuff you've done, work you've done on YouTube and with the BBC and all kinds of crazy stuff. But we're going to start with a segment that me and Rubes like to call Absolutely Fuming, where we just talk about the stuff that's kind of really got under our skin this week. Is there anything that's just really ticked you off?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh God, Phil, there's so many things that tick me off in a week, and especially during lockdowns and things, because we're in lockdown number 3 at the moment. I'm sick of kind of watching the news from a media point of view, and from someone who wants to present the news when they're older. That's a lifelong goal, to be honest, Phil. That I just can't kind of stand watching the news at the moment because there just doesn't seem to be a lot of positivity recently on it. Although saying that, they have got better at putting positive vibes on the news, perhaps with the vaccine rollout and kind of counting how many vaccines and how many people we're vaccinating a day. The thing that always gets me, it's probably not on a week, it's probably on a more frequently than just 1 week and just this week, is all the phrases that the journalists or just general people seem to say. I can remember I shared a thing from Greg James, the Radio 1 presenter, and he was talking about how everyone loves this new phrase of, yes, socially distance, of course. Yes, we met up for a bike ride, socially distance, of course. Like, don't say that. It just gets on my nerves how people say that. Like, no one's going to judge you.
I mean, I would like to specify that we are socially distanced while making this podcast. We're obviously we're not together right now.
Well, I was going to say we are in lockdown. We've either magic internet, aren't we? Tinternet.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, it's just these phrases that people seem to say, really, just gets on my nerves. But I suppose it's things like the new normal. No, I don't want a new normal. I want an old normal of how life used to be. But I think those phrases and perhaps the new normal, it will be around for a very long time. So I guess we've got to get used to it, probably.
Yeah. What about you, Ruben?
What's made me absolutely fuming?
Yeah. Welcome back to the world of the living room.
Sorry. How much DVDs cost? It's kind of annoying.
Surely getting Amazon Prime or Netflix or a subscription service.
Oh yeah, but they're all stuff that you really can't really find anywhere.
I was going to say, are you one of those people that likes to have like a hard copy of a book and things? You know, like some people have like Kindles.
Oh yeah. Like I watched Godzilla on Netflix and I bought the DVD. Well, I bought the Blu-ray because I wanted it on my shelf.
That's brilliant. Yeah, I like that. Ruben's just taken us through his whole Amazon order life history.
Oh God, I got some random crap in there.
Oh, I have as well. I was going to say the last thing I ordered from Amazon was some skincare routine set for men because everyone likes a man with a nice skincare routine.
Oh yes.
and then a Samsung 1TB hard drive, which I was telling you about how my PC just decided after Christmas to give me a nasty surprise. So me and my father spent a good few days trying to sort that out.
Right. Okay. I think we're gonna jump into kind of your story, I guess, Max, because obviously you do YouTube, don't you?
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, you go around kind of interviewing people in the football world. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's pretty much all football on the YouTube channel, but it was always a kind of good goal from a early age to be a kind of a presenter and reporter, and I thought, what better place to start than football, a sport that I love, I've played, watch more now. I hardly ever play it anymore, because to be honest, I wasn't a very good footballer. I'm much better at talking about it, so that's what I've always wanted to do, and that's kind of my lifelong goal, and I'm hoping to achieve that. And like you said, I've obviously done quite a bit in the past, and I have already achieved quite a few fair things on YouTube, and I'm very lucky to have been given opportunities and things like that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll get there, mate. So, kind of, how did you get into it? I guess, like, what was your entry point to the world?
The entry point really was, when you're younger and you have lots of like career kind of aspiration changes, like when everyone was younger, they wanted to be a footballer, Well, I actually wanted to be an astronaut. I had an astronaut fancy dress.
Who didn't want to be an astronaut?
And like an astronaut fancy dress suit that I used to put on and stuff.
Oh, nice.
At kids' parties.
Wait, what?
Whoa.
When I was younger, of course. When I was younger. No, to be honest, it kind of, my entry point into the whole kind of media and YouTube things was, it goes back to a story of literally just going to a football game as a usual football fan, and then I was interviewed by kind of a local East Midlands Today journalist, BBC East Midlands, who asked me questions just about the football. My brother and my dad also as well. We kind of got interviewed as a family, and then from there she said, "Oh, you're really good. You speak really well on the interview. Have you ever thought about getting into this kind of thing?" I thought nothing of it really, and then kind of went home and was thinking about it, and then spoke to my dad, who's always been supportive of my things. Helped me from about the age of 11 and 12 when I obviously first entered it all. And then kind of created a YouTube channel, changed the name a few times, a few graphics, and I think when I started to get a microphone, because I used to do kind of the vlogging style, which if I'm honest with you, and this is no disrespect to anyone that does it, but I'm not a big vlog kind of person. I'm not a big vlog fan. So I kind of got a microphone. I was quite unique. I stood out from other kind of football YouTubers and people on the platform. Kind of got a microphone. Generally went around interviewing Forest fans. I at an early age, I've always knew a lot about Forest. I've always been quite interested in stats and things, so many stat books and research, and they are my boy club, and everyone when I was younger used to say I used to know so much and stuff, and talking about football. And you can probably tell now as well, and people listening, that from an early age I was kind of, if you ask my parents and just general friends from an early age, is that I was just talking from the day I was born really. And I wanted to turn it into something more, and like I said earlier, what kind of better way to do it than turn it into kind of not only a hobby but also a kind of sport and like football, Forest, a team that I love, to kind of report on it to start off with, and that's how it all started. It all started off as a hobby, having fun, going to games, and obviously now it's turning into a career, and I guess in some parts it kind of already has been a career, and it is probably my career now.
Oh, nice. Would you say anyone particularly inspired you? Was there anyone who you used to watch who got you into it, or?
I was a very big fan of the Casual Crowd podcast.
Oh yeah,
they got me. Cheeky plug for you. No, I'd probably say just the usual people that are on the TV. I was always quite a big fan of Gary Lineker from an early age. I'd probably say another one, and probably one of the biggest inspirations for me was Dan Walker, who does Football Focus and does BBC Breakfast. Also, kind of big fan of just general football pundits before he kind of stepped away from football reporting, although he is getting back into it now. There's a guy named Simon Thomas who tragically lost his wife. Actually, was a Blue Peter presenter, and he did Sky Sports, and I really liked his style of how he presented, so I took quite a big kind of bulk of inspiration from him in a way. There is so many people out there, and it's been great to see more women reporters as well recently, and more women on the TV as well. I think that's great, and it's really, it's what it should be about, because football brings people together, and there needs to be people like that on the TV for me. But no, kind of general inspirations was was from quite a few. But what also inspired me was watching kind of other YouTube channels, and I always used to love watching things like behind the scenes of films and things, behind the scenes of TV shows, so I could see like what it was like. And when I was younger, when I was younger, about 7 or 8 years old, my dad bought me I think it's called is it a teleprompter, like a little recording device. And I would literally just go round. Like I got it on Christmas Day when I was about, God, I can't remember. And I would literally just go round interviewing family members and things, and asking them like about the weather. And I just used to have fun. You probably laugh and say I still do now, but a few years, I only stopped this a few years ago. I used to like create like fake radio shows and things, and pretend to be a radio host. And I always used to try and get on the radio as well. Like they do phone-ins and things, and like drive time requests. I always used to literally just spend hours like on the phone, like on hold, and you used to keep calling. I think I called like one radio show once like 103 times just to get on, because it was always something that I'd had a real interest in it. So I guess that inspired me as well. It's just generally listening. I did actually, yeah. I think I was annoyed. I wanted to go on BBC Radio 2. Like I grew up with it for a long time, and it was when Simon Mayo was doing the drive time show, and I rang Simon like Mayo, obviously, like the producers' answers and things, and they said, oh, great story. I think it was like, I'm on holiday and come with my mum, and it's her birthday. Can I request a song, something cheesy like that? And they were like, yeah, great. We'll give you a ring back, we'll schedule you in. And they never rang me back.
That's cold.
And I was determined ever since after that to get on. And now, it only happened about a year ago, I think it was a year and a half ago. It was Sarah Cox presents it now on Radio 2. She's like the drive time host. And I rang in, and I got it, and I was the first caller on the show.
Oh, really?
And can you ever guess which song I requested?
Come on, Tories.
A bit of
Sorry, no.
A bit of Rick Roll, a bit of Rick
Astley's
Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh, I love that song.
What a brilliant song.
We was playing college. So no, it always made me determined as well. I grew up in quite a family-wise, and parents, is that we always used to watch the news. I always used to be interested in current affairs when I was younger. Always used to just be interested in sports, and always used to have the radio on as well. So I always took an interest in it, and that's what I want to do ultimately. I've always said to people when I've gone on podcasts and things that if I can make it as just a news presenter or a radio presenter, then I'll probably say that life's complete for me. That's kind of my main end goal, really. And I wouldn't mind hosting Match of the Day, if possible, as well.
Well, I mean, you've come on the Casual Cow podcast now, so you're getting pretty close. Yeah, I mean, well, that is a very inspirational story. So, kind of, how did you go from starting YouTube to eventually working for the BBC?
Yeah, good question. So I was kind of doing YouTube up until, well, I still do it now, don't I, really? Of course, I saw something kind of on Twitter, excuse me, on social media, and the BBC, it was BBC Sport actually, kind of put a tweet out saying CBBC are looking for someone who's football mad, that can show off a bit of a skill or two. It's like quite good to camera and things. I was like, sounds alright. So mentioned it to kind of my dad and brother as well, and they were like, yeah, sounds quite good. You should have a look. So kind of looked at the BBC's website of what it required and what they wanted sending in, and kind of like an application, I guess you could say. So I went down like the park a few days later, filmed like kind of a quick video with my dad, thinking nothing of it, kind of, and my dad put together some like highlights of my interviews. And then I kind of shoved the kind of the application in. You just applied through kind of the BBC Talent website. Applied, thought nothing of it, and then it was about 2.5 months later. So at that time, I kind of thought nothing of it really. I thought maybe they just left it, or they've never got back to you. And they had about 1,300 applicants, and I had kind of a thing saying, you've made it through to like a casting round. Have you got like a contact detail for obviously an over 18, like a trusted parent or guardian? Of course, pass all that on to them, and it was great. I was invited to a casting day which had about 30 or 40 people, where the kind of main producer of the show was speaking, the director, everybody like that. So I ended up kind of talking like to them and the day was where we did like different activities and bits to camera to show that you could, obviously do well. And I ended up kind of getting the role, I guess you could say. There was 3 people they were looking for in the end, and fast forward about 3 months after the casting day, so it's quite a long process, about 6 or 7 months in total. The producer phoned my parents up and said I got it. It was a bit of a crazy moment, to be fair. I'd gone from
it was quite a big competition almost to
very big,
get the role.
Very big. I also think there's so many talented people there that I'm still in contact with some today because I made great friends that day. And
that's good.
And I think it was it was such a shame that they had to perhaps narrow it down to 3 because there was a lot of talent in that room, and that's great to see. He's kind of, I guess you could say, fellow talent my age, and there's so many people in that room I also thought were perhaps a little bit better than me. So it was surreal. It was going from a YouTube channel then to working on filming days with kind of 3 or 4 kind of cast and crew
so that
people.
sounds like a quite big jump almost. Like you might feel like you're prepared for it, but then you kind of obviously being there on the day was like, my God, what am I doing here? This is big. God. Yeah.
Oh, massive. I can remember the first kind of filming day we did a bit of a photo shoot, and then the first filming day I was stopping, they put me up in at Holiday Inn in Manchester, in Media City, and just being put up in like a hotel and getting everything kind of done for you like that, and then kind of practicing the night before. It was really weird because I was kind of almost excited but so nervous that it was kind of a bit of script in my head of what I was going to say, because we were doing it based on little bits of content we were filming, and just going from like an environment with literally yourself to a mic to like your dad behind the camera or your brother helping you out, to working with like talented BBC producers and also other talent. I was working with 2 people, Theo and Jemima, their names, because they were kind of young, kind of aspiring footballers. They're really talented academy players that were kind of doing freestyling and presenting and things, and they were great. They were really nice people to work with. Still in contact with them to this day, and it was really good fun. Of course, COVID had other ideas. I'm sure you're going to ask me about that, but no, generally speaking, an amazing time there. Opened my eyes of what it was really like working in a massive industry, and there's so many other opportunities I've had from them as from the BBC as well, really.
Yeah, I mean that's a great story, and I can imagine how much of a great opportunity that was for you, but also how challenging it was going into that world.
Oh, so challenging.
Now, I remember briefly speaking with you at college about an appearance you made on live television, and you were talking about what it was actually like being in front of the camera as one of those presenters. I was wondering if you were willing to talk about that.
Which one? When I was like on kind of live TV and
oh, flex. Which one?
Sorry, I kind of didn't mean to come across that. Like I suppose going on local TV and things like East Midlands Today went live on there once.
Yeah.
I've kind of I've been on global news and things. I've just been on general bits and pieces. It's quite weird though, because I get kind of sometimes called upon the kind of radio perhaps sometimes just to chat to like the presenters or the like say breakfast host about what I do or just generally about football and kind of give my opinion, as obviously I know a fair, I'd like to say, bit about football and especially my club. So going on there's weird. TV is much weirder than radio. Radio's quite literally like radio. When I've been on radio live as well, it's like a FaceTime audio call, and it just put you through, and it's quite. You actually don't think it's. You can obviously hear what the presenter's saying, and then you just get like put through. And taking calls on radio stations, because I've seen it like happen as well live. It's like all the presenter will do is like click a button and then just put the mic up. It's like just a general like kind of mic input, basically just like a phone plugged into kind of like a computer. Then it's kind of like the general audio system. TV's much weirder. You've got auto cues and things. I was kind of on TV once, and I can remember going, and I was supposed to go on live, and then the woman said, there's a big breaking news story broke in Nottingham about something to do with some bloke getting certain years in prison, and it's off topic, but they kind of said, do you mind if we pre-record it this time, because we because we're focusing on this new story to go live. I was like, yeah, of course, but we kind of took it as
can't really say no in that position, can you?
No, not really. I was going to say as but live TV is weird. Like auto cues, people in your, not generally me, but the presenters when you have an earpiece in. I've never had one in, which will be weird to adapt to. But when you've got people shouting in your ear and things, I'm always good friends with Colin Murray, who's still on this day, a sports broadcaster, helped me out so much. I'm forever grateful. It's Colin. I always kind of talk about him when I go on podcasts. So he kind of invited me once onto Channel 5's live set where they do the football like highlights show, and he like had an earpiece in, and I was kind of just behind the scenes watching him, and the producer let me put like the headset in, which was connected to everybody, and literally he was like doing the outro, and he got me to write his outro for him actually. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it was very cool. The funny thing was that he actually never finished it because he got to like a little bit of saying, and it's been a busy weekend and such and such and such and such, and then the producers were just in his ear like, yeah, Colin, wind your neck in now, like shut up. So he literally just had to say like, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time, like bye bye, like literally just cut it off because of the tight schedule. And that was what I was saying earlier with radios and not getting on is because of tight schedules. But live TV is weird, but just general going on TV and things, I kind of have adapted to it, and I'm very lucky that I said earlier as well that because I've kind of been brought up, especially from kind of my parents, of talking to people and socialising, that I was always kind of ready to do things like that. And my dad's been on like the news and things before, like generally not related to me, just general like phone-ins or bits and pieces, because he's quite confident. So I was kind of grateful that I was brought up in that way, so I could do what I can do today.
So I suppose, as someone who myself kind of aspires to be in that industry, I was wondering if I could sort of just ask you, like, for people like me or anybody listening who would enjoy going into that industry, do you have any advice for people like that?
Simple advice is, it's tough. I've been in it since kind of 12, I guess you could say. I'm not massively into it, but I'm
start early.
Yeah, in it and a part of it. Yeah, start early. But be prepared for a lot of setbacks. Be prepared for a lot of perhaps false promises of people saying, you know, you'll do this or you'll do that, and then it never happens. You've just got to be prepared for setbacks. I mean, COVID for me and lockdowns and things have really opened my eyes. They've been beneficial in some ways because I've realised what perhaps is more important, and I managed to find new hobbies and things. But in some ways, it's been really tough because you went from, you know, I might as well answer your question if you were going to ask it anyway. But you go from kind of presenting on with the BBC and filming a new kids TV show, for that to be on hold to kind of January 21 and nothing really said, I guess you could say. So for me it's difficult, but you have to bounce back, and it's been a difficult time for everybody, and I know a lot more people are in 10 times worse situation than me, with people, you know, losing their lives to COVID, and people just generally, and mental health and everything like that, and people not being able to feed kids and things during this, and furlough and all of that, and you know, just generally what's going on in the world at the moment. So I'm lucky that I'm nowhere near those people, but it's been tough. But my advice to people, Phil, definitely is to be unique, start early, and just keep going, because the more you work and the more you kind of, I always kind of have, I don't know if it's really a saying, but in my mind it's like, put in the hard work now, and then in like 30 years time you'll be able to look back and you'll be able to chill. You'll be able to like sit back and like take a breath and chill, if you get what I mean, because you've achieved so much, or because you've got to where you are now. Whatever industry that, you know, you want to go into, is to just kind of have that work ethic, really. But no, and find something you enjoy doing it. If you don't enjoy doing it, then I just think it isn't for you. Like, I enjoy doing my reporting. Like, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, there's plenty of times where it's been a bit crap, or you know, sometimes you're a bit reluctant to doing things, or you've had one of them days, but you get on with it. And I think for me is that I always enjoy doing it. 99.9% of the time, I love doing what I do. I love talking about football, and if I can turn it into a career, which hopefully is slowly starting to happen now, then you know, I'll be a very happy man, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's great advice. Thank you very much for that.
It's kind of it's really cool to see like the behind the scenes of how things like kind of go on in the industry, because you can see how things work in a different way. Because I remember when my first job, well, my only job, like working in the kitchen at the minute, you know, it's kind of you see how things get run and see how chaotic things are, and I guess everything seems all calm, but like especially on TV, everything seems so calm and well cut out. But in reality, there's like tons
chaos
and tons
behind the scenes.
There's people. There's so many people behind the scenes. Make sure this like one slight thing is up to perfection, and make sure timing's right. TV shows are long enough, or advert, things like that. So there are a lot more than just
oh god, yeah,
a guy standing in front or a woman standing with a microphone going, yeah, okay, yeah. So I completely agree with you. Yeah, there's a lot more than that.
Yeah,
so it's kind of fascinating to hear behind the scenes of what you've got, of what it's like. Yeah,
and it's very weird, kind of. Because it's very much a precious sort of industry, and if you see TV presenters, right, if they make one mistake on TV, whether that's just a kind of a mess up of the saying, or perhaps the I don't mispronounce the word and swear, just little things, they're picked up on it so much, and it is unbelievably, so. Get in the industry, you've got a very thick skin, is what I've noticed, and I think I've hopefully developed that over the years. For me, is because one little thing that you do wrong, people will just go for you. Literally, like, pick the finest detail of something you've done wrong. Whether you're, the best news presenter in the world, whether you're, like I said, Dan Walker on BBC Breakfast, who does it as a job, and he's a great presenter. He does one bad thing, people will pick at him on social media, and they don't remember the positives. And
is this referencing a specific controversy, by the way? Like, if he's done something awful and we're just saying, yeah, I can't believe they went for him.
No, it's just generally feel
like he dressed up as an astronaut and started going around to kids' parties.
Well, no, dressed up as an astronaut when I was about 5 or 6. What I'm talking about is like perhaps misreading the auto cue.
Oh,
yeah.
Not interviewing someone.
I hear it on radio all the time, but radio's different, isn't it? Because radio's kind of your own show,
because you
your
can
own
read
thing.
off a script. Well, I say read off a script. You can't sound like you're reading off a script, but you can. I suppose. TV,
yeah, because I hear like
the
traffic people all the time. They go, the understandable of westbound.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
I've made so many mistakes.
Personally, I wouldn't see what's wrong with that, because I understand we make mistakes at the end of the day.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, we're not all autonomous, and we're not AI. We don't get everything perfect. So I think we just need to accept that some things will go wrong. And I know that it's a high demand, I guess, for everything to be perfection nowadays, for things to be perfect, for things to work the way they're meant to work. But behind the scenes, and you've got all this chaos, and one person makes a mistake. It's a bit like, I'm not surprised. There's so much going on.
And we're actually going to jump into a different topic. So you mentioned briefly that during your time at the BBC, you were kind of working towards creating a children's show. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a kids football show, like skills, like football skills, tutorials, interviews, kind of the lot, really, just covering everything football. And it was kind of aimed at between about, I think it was like 9 and 14, kind of the age range was. I thoroughly enjoyed it, to be honest with you. It was great fun filming it. It's just such a shame it was kind of it's on hold because of COVID, and fingers crossed it'll be resumed, and if not, something kind of more will come out of it. And look, I'm a big believer in things happen for a reason, really, Phil, and Ruben. So I think that perhaps better opportunities or similar opportunities will come out of it. You just got to kind of stay positive, and it's not bad to put on your CV, really, is it?
No, it's not, and I imagine it was a great opportunity for you. Okay, so now obviously, I believe you've got. Are you sponsored by it?
I'm ambassador for.
Ambassador. Oh, very nice. Is that Mitre Sports? I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Yeah. So I work with Mitre. I've worked with them for about a year now. Kind of renew my contract as well in lockdown number 1 towards the end. That Mitre are fantastic. I cover the FA Cup for them. There's a great team there. Made so many friends, contacts. Great, honestly, fantastic. One of the best things I've ever done in my career so far. We were responsible for creating kind of lockdown challenges during lockdown number 1. We called them Max's Matter challenges, and some of these videos got like 560. I think the highest one was 570 something thousand views. There were like challenges and things like fitness challenges, like football challenges, spot the difference quizzes, just general like lockdown sport related challenges, because Mitre make the football specifically for the EFL and the FA at the moment. that was massive. And funny enough, the highest viewed video was actually starred my dad doing a fitness challenge. I wasn't even in it. I was literally filming. I think it was my dad and my dog, and my dad went viral rather than me, but oh well, I guess he has to have some fame for helping me out. No, I'm joking. So, it's all good, and I've really enjoyed my time at Mitre. I hope to be working with them for hopefully a long time in the future as well, and fingers crossed kind of be able to keep them on the side as well if I get more opportunities with kind of different organisations as well. But no, I've absolutely loved the time there. I've done FA Cup videos when we were allowed to go to football games, and I've done, so much as well, especially with kind of interviewing players, managers, and we're doing some content actually hopefully this week, so that'll be kind of released on Mitre's stories. Well, we're filming this on the 12th of, is it? Yeah, it's January. God, I'm tired. You can there you go. Lockdown's already getting to me. 12th of January into it today, so that'll probably go live on like the 15th, 16th Saturday probably. So yeah, I've like I say, Mitre's fantastic, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. And that all came from winning the kind of 2 football content awards. I won 2 football content awards, the best young content creator. So that was great, and that kind of Mitre sponsored the second time round, so they kind of got chatting to them, and I did like a few pieces of content, and then they took me on as kind of like I guess you say, full-time young ambassador. That
is cool. That's awesome. So what does being a Mitre ambassador kind of entail?
Wearing their clothes. No, they send me a lot of nice clothes and things, like promoting their clothes, wearing clothes. We do Instagram stories, interviews, just being a good kind of brand representative, if you get what I mean, in promoting Mitre's.
Making sure you don't go around wearing other like
No, to be honest, not really. Like, as long as I'm not posting like go and check out like Puma's footballs or another brand. No. Look, I'm sure you've seen me rock up to college in probably Adidas trackies.
Oh yeah.
Mitre. If you are listening, please don't cancel my contract. No, so
I'll tweet this at them.
No, so we do lots of things: interviews, Instagram stories, like I said, challenges, quizzes, clothes, just generally being like a kind of a youth representative, Phil.
Yeah, nice. I mean, I suppose kind of further outside of the media world, it's something we've spoken about a huge amount today, and it's really great. But I was kind of wondering, outside of that world, what do you do? What does Max from Matchday with Max do as kind of hobbies and interests?
Main hobbies and interests, really. I never really used to do it, but my dad's quite into PCs and games and things, so I got like a gaming PC the other year, and I spend a lot of time on that, to be honest with you. Kind of a big kind of crime drama fan. I like watching dramas and things. Just started watching, actually it was starred last night on ITV. There was the Pembrokeshire Murders, which I'd highly advise you to watch, guys. It's on for 3 nights. It started last night, and it's about these kind of double murders that took place that were linked to kind of this serial killer that killed, I think it was like 4 or 5 people in total, in Pembrokeshire, in Wales. But the guy who actually it shows like the journalist kind of breaking like the story, and the journalist that actually broke the story, I think, is Jonathan Hill. He's played by somebody in the drama, because it's all real, this is. He actually helped the police catch the killer, so the journalist actually writes a book about it, which I'm actually planning on getting. In fact, I might order it like on Amazon and have a read of that after I've kind of watched the TV series, like the TV drama. So no, I'm quite a big fan of those. I'm a big, like I said earlier, big aviation fan. That includes quite big on, gonna call me a geek, I'm quite big on like the old flight simulator. I like all that. Model planes. I'm a bit of a plane geek, bit of a plane spotter. I'm hoping to do my private pilot's license as well on the side as a hobby, so I'd be able to kind of jump in a plane and fly VFR, which is kind of visual, really. So that's not like big airliners, that's little prop planes like Cessnas and propeller aircraft. So
I'd love to be able to fly Cessnas.
That is cool.
They're really interesting.
Ruben, I tell you what, if I have the money and I can pass it in the next few years, we will hire out a plane and and I'll invite you and Phil on it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Romantic bros trip.
Yeah, romantic lads trip. Romantic casual crowd meeting in the air.
Podcast on a plane. Oh, that's never
great.
done before.
That's a
great
Someone
idea.
write that down.
In fact, in Fat Boys, I actually might nick that and take that to Mitre and see if they're interested in sponsoring it.
No. You got to shout us out though. You got to say. Well, obviously it's not my idea because I'm not that cool.
No, it's good.
But,
I like it. But no, main kind of other hobbies, like I say, aviation, just general kind of sport as well. I play kind of, especially obviously not at the moment because we can't go in.
Yeah.
But, racquetball, squash, tennis. I was one of those kids that I was never really good at like the football and rugby. I guess you could say ball sports, but I'm really good at like racket sports, I'd like to say. So I really enjoy playing that, and I play with my dad as well a lot of the time, and family, friends, and friend as well. So lots of that. I'm trying to think of other things that I really like. To be honest, just sitting around and doing nothing's quite nice on some days.
Yeah.
And it seems to be that seems to happen a lot at the moment. To be honest.
Yeah.
But no, and just usual things like Xbox, and typical kind of lad things and things that we do to chill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we're coming to the end now. I think I don't want to make you run over, but I guess I just want to say it's been really great having you on here, mate. It's obviously speaking to you in college, you're a great bloke, and having you on the pod, it's been a pleasure. It really has.
Phil, Ruben, thank you very much. It's great to do these things. Like I say, I always love coming on podcasts. It's great. It's given me something to do, hasn't it? And of course, well, hopefully, I'll see you both soon in college whenever we're allowed back in.
Yeah.
God, I think we'll be lucky if it's this time next year.
Oh, let's
no,
face it, yeah.
hopefully it's like I'd like to say March time. But I don't know. It's just to use the things that we were talking about and absolutely fuming. Unprecedented times, the new normal. We just don't know what's going to happen, do we?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah,
but no, boys, thank you very much, top guys, and really enjoyed it. Cheers for having me on,
and cheers for coming on. Thank you very much. And you know what? I think that is probably going to do it for today's episode. If you did enjoy, a rating wherever you are would be greatly appreciated. And if you could share it with just one person, it would absolutely mean the world to us, even if it is just your nan. If you do want to get into contact with us, send us some feedback or just have a conversation with us, we are always up to talk to you. You can contact us in the YouTube comments section if you are watching on YouTube, or on our social medias. That is Instagram @TheCasualCrowd or Twitter @TheCasualCrowd. And I believe we also have a TikTok at the time of uploading this, @TheCasualCrowd. I've never really used TikTok, if I'm being honest, but apparently the algorithm's good. And I love those views, so I'm going to be uploading some highlights there. And of course, there will also be highlights going up on the YouTube channel. If you do want to stay up to date with what's going on with the podcast, Instagram is probably the best place for that. Of course, we will have weekly episodes uploaded at 9 a.m. GMT every single Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you very, very, very much for watching, and I'll see you awesome people next week. Goodbye.